Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Some massive games last night in the VCT Challengers playoffs as the bracket is taking shape rather nicely, but also a big update from the Sentinel side, what's happening with SicK. Confirming last night potentially the start of the ends of this saga that's been very difficult to watch over the last couple of months, and thankfully the support is now, it seems, finally there for him. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. Quickly on the Tokyo Masters situation. Of course, the event is technically not actually in Tokyo. People have said it's in this Shiba city, I guess, nearby, but it's relatively, I mean, Tokyo's massive, right? So I guess it's kind of in the ballpark. But anyways, they say they've further assessed the space within the venue and have decided that they can actually accommodate more seats. So if you guys happen to want to attend or be local, or just think, you know what, let's give it a go, there's going to be another wave of tickets available on Saturday, June the 3rd. Well, that's tomorrow, right? 10 a.m. Japanese time. So kind of interesting, they didn't realize they actually could accommodate more seats until now. It's, again, a shame that Zeta Division aren't there. It would be fantastic, but unfortunately not. But still, the crowd is going to kill it. The Japanese crowds are always good fun in all sorts of different sports. I mean, like Formula 1 as well. I reckon the Japanese crowd for the Suzuka Grand Prix is probably the best you're going to find in the entire world. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to this. And even more tickets, the more the merrier, absolutely. Quickly from TenZ as well, says that, I guess, during this period where Sentinels have to wait for the last chance qualifier, wants to do a bit of VALORANT tutorial content. Lots of drama with Sentinels over the last few months, obviously. And before we get into the SicK stuff, just wanted to mention this because I know many of you guys said, oh, you've got to point this out over the coming days. Breakthrough, right? Who, this organization that's been a big talking point. Daznurth is joining in. Whether this is, I guess he's here as a content creator, right? I can't exactly imagine he's going to be stepping in to the starting roster anymore, but still, maybe the judge is going to come true. But let's speak Sentinels in this whole SicK debate over the last few months, because when it was initially starting, I covered it a little bit, and then I realized that it just wasn't worth doing so because it just wasn't enjoyable to watch the development. I think it really started at the lock-in event at the start of the season, right, when there was this, bit of drama between SicK and the team didn't want SicK to be around with them, and SicK wanted to be there, and a lot of stuff happened when SicK got back, explaining his situation, his side of the story. And then he was arrested for criminal trespassing in a Ferrari dealership, I believe, and then he was in jail for some time, was then released, and he hadn't tweeted for some time. We thought maybe he was back to being in the correct headspace, but that clearly hasn't been the case over the last month or so. And as ShahZaM said on the 11th of May, like, some of the stuff that he was tweeting and saying is awful stuff, but what people are saying about him is really ignorant to his condition and his mental health in general. In 6 years, he's never said any of these things. He's never been like this. It's not him that's acting right now. His well-being is more important to me right now than his actions that are out of his control. He's in a severe state of delusions, paranoia, the list goes on. It's a complete 180 from the person I've known closely, so I'm confidently telling you none of this behavior is truly what he's about. And evidently, people have been trying to get SicK help. I know that ShahZaM has reached out to him, and then SicK was kind of calling ShahZaM out on Twitter, and it was a really difficult set of circumstances to watch. And I believe it was maybe a couple of weeks ago now, SicK tweeted that he'd actually had a meeting with the Sentinels CEO, because it's obviously not good for Sentinels what's going on. They have some responsibility to help SicK out of this issue, but they can only help him if he's willing, at least in part, to help himself. And now he tweets this out last night to 25,000 likes, and it is great to see. Over the past few weeks, I'm sure you have seen some of my posts on social media. Many of my comments went too far, and I apologize for any offensive comments, and I'll be deleting those posts to address the issue. I'm going to start therapy next week, which Sentinels had agreed to pay for, and I'm motivated to get help as I seek to redefine my life going forward. This will be a long journey, so I anticipate that I'll continue to make some missteps, but I appreciate the support as I try and work through all this. So this is great to see from SicK. Hopefully this is, it's really, mental health is a really tricky conversation, but hopefully these are his words and he's starting to feel better, and Sentinels have obviously agreed to try and help him through this process to get him back to a point where he can represent their brand in the correct way, but also ideally, because he started the season as their substitute player, right, their sixth man, and of course, given his talent as a player at his peak level, could be a very valuable player for a roster. Most certainly Sentinels themselves, so good for all parties if this does come to fruition. Now, like, he still has been tweeting out things like this, and also he did tweet where is Jenna in the replies. Whether he did this as a bit of a joke or whatever is a little bit unknown, but yeah, with any luck, this will continue to develop positively over the coming days. I'm wishing all the best for SicK, of course, and those very close to him. Let's talk about the matches in the VCT Challengers side. Two big games going down last night. The results were as expected. FaZe have fallen off dramatically, right? I mean, these guys can't hit a shot to save their lives, to be honest, but the Guard are looking good. And it does seem like the two big favorites going into this entire season in the North American side, the Guard and M80, do find themselves in a position where they're looking rather good, right? Again, and they fell off a little bit at times, but when push comes to shove, they're back in business, right? Fracture was 13-2. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Lotus was a bit closer, but still 13-6. The first half, 7-5. FaZe were up 5-2. Then Damn were up 5-2, and then they lost 13-6. So not exactly great. Not even too much to be still on this story, to be honest, because they just got completely blown out the park. The other series, though, was the big storyline that I'm keeping my eyes on is Moist Moguls, because the Guard and M80 are the two favorite teams to make it through, but only two of the top teams can do so. Can Moist Moguls upset one of those two? They've started off on a good trend to do exactly that. They took down TSM yesterday. TSM a decent team for sure. You know, Nature, Corey, Kanpeki, GMD7, but no match right now for Moist Moguls. Right, I'll share a couple of clips here in a second, but it was 13-7 on Pearl and 13-9 on Lotus. Not quite as dominant as the Guard versus FaZe was, but nonetheless, another relatively clean 2-0 here for Moist Moguls. So they are looking scary, it's got to be said.
Sim? Oh, no, I'm yelling. Yeah, I'm yelling across.
He's like, ult question mark?
Yeah, those three coming down link right now.
Oh my god! That's so gross.
Lud definitely just got us kicked out of the league there.
We're gonna have to review.
Like, chat, I feel like that looks so easy.
They push
right?
delay, right?
It looks like it's easy. I mean, I want to say, but it's like so impressive. Oh wow! Again, look at that scaling.
Trailblazer on the way in from
All the
both
dogs
sides.
collided.
Moist Moguls still not
They were just saying, hey.
fully in yet. It's on the way. Viper's Pit to affirm
Oh, what the
this.
f is this?
Oh my goodness, so deep. Kanpeki does take down
This ult is crazy
Numbers
again.
start to be neutralized just a touch. Proto shuts down
Wow.
the
There you go, Proto.
Wow.
Oh, use that ult just for the hell of it.
Great way to end it.
Wow.
Yo, Flyers ults are like really.
That sets up the bracket like this, and the way I see it, right, there's two teams that make it through here to the North American playoffs, or just the Americas playoffs for the Ascension, and of those two teams, I'm expecting it's going to be, I think, two of M80, the Guard, and Moist Moguls. I think Oxygen have a decent team. They beat G2 comprehensively, but G2 aren't anything special right now. So, look, it's M80 that will probably win this series against Oxygen Esports today, and then we've got Guard Moist Moguls as well. This is really the big one to me, because the Guard played phenomenal last night, so did Moist Moguls. The winner of this is arguably, well, he's going to be the favorite team outside of probably M80 if they win the upper side, to make it through to the Americas Ascension playoff tourney, which is going to be absolutely massive. So, yeah, really looking forward to these series. It really is spicing up now, and it's FaZe TSM in losers round 1 as well, which happens over the coming days also. So lots of massive games here coming up soon. Today is going to be a real test, I think, for Moist Moguls, how they can do against this Guard squad that was started out the season as, I think, the favourites. M80 came along and said, oh, maybe we're the favourites, but now the Guard are looking good again. So, yeah, man, the fact that only one of these teams can go up, and it might not even be one of these teams, might be some other team from the Americas region, is kind of wild. Going into Masters Tokyo, wanted to look at this. This is in the VCT Americas from Willminder here, the round win rate on attack and defense. So you guys can see the pretty much middle of the road team here with, you know, let's say 100 Thieves, Leviathan, Furia, with pretty much relatively 50-50 attack and defense around win rates. Whereas when you get down to MIBR, they're, you know, obviously in Crew as well, they're way down here. It's kind of funny that MIBR are significantly worse than Crew, but Crew actually were, you know, the team that didn't get a single victory. EG are in quite an interesting spot here with a lower than average attacking round win percentage, about 48 or so percent, but a 52%-ish defensive round win percentage, whereas the real best teams, they're up in the positive on both sides. Cloud9 have the best defense at, you know, 7% or so. It's actually not so good for Loud, but Loud have by far the best attack. 61-ish% attacking win percentage. That is incredibly impressive and way above what any other team in the league does here. So that is the key kind of advantage to say, like, the difference between EG and Loud is just on the attacking sides. And maybe it's not talked about quite as much as it should be, but we are living in a bit of a Loud era, to be honest. Okay, Stage 2 Masters Copenhagen, they fell short, but these are Loud results over the last several international tournaments. events. First in the Americas League, second at Lock-in Sao Paulo, right, back in March time, first at Champions last year, first in Brazil Stage 2 Challengers last year, second at Reykjavik, and all this stuff. So, looking at these results over the last couple of seasons, it's really impressive what Loud have done, actually. But can they actually get the job done on the real big stage where they go to Masters Tokyo here? Obviously, they won it at Champions last year, so you wouldn't put it past them. But yeah, the EMEA teams are rather solid right now. Fnatic are going to go in as favourites quite clearly. The only game they've lost in a long time was one that frankly didn't matter that much because both of those teams, Fnatic and Liquid, had already qualified for the playoffs guaranteed at the event itself. So we'll see. And also SADAC I thought was interesting, like after winning that event in the VCT Americas playoffs, SADAC is now top 5 highest earning Valorant players. So it's kind of funny that one of them's now on DSG. But yeah, the original top 5 was the former OpTic core, but now SADAC has overtaken Marved and Yay at $152,434 earned from Valorant. So very impressive stuff. Probably an underrated IGL in some aspects as well. So very much interested to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.